Welcome back to Breaking Bullying. Today, we're hearing a personal story of bullying, the challenge faced, and the lessons learned today. We'll get right into it after I hit this music. Joining me this week is author and anti-bullying advocate, Erica Lowenkopf. Erica, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Erica, I would love to hear your story about school bullying. A lot of people do experience school bullying, as myself, but tell us your story and we'll go right from there.
Okay. I was bullied pretty much all through school. I would say there was a tapering off throughout high school, but my peak where it was at its absolute worst was eighth grade. In elementary school, I got a lot from, not from just from other kids, but from teachers too. When I got an answer wrong in class, or if I did something wrong, it seemed like I was getting yelled at and punished a lot, and, I'm bringing this up because 'cause I'm gonna be making a point that it has to do with later on in the story, so that's why I'm bringing this up. I you know, I would say I got, detention, sent to the principal's office for whatever. I never got suspended because I never did anything that bad that it had required that kind of a punishment, but and,
I'm just curious though, detention for what? Like, why would they
uh
think they need to give you detention for getting something for an answer
talking out
wrong?
of class, acting, I guess I was kinda considered this was in the early '80s, so it was, like, not I this was before the whole ADHD thing and autism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, it was just like I was just like a kid who acted just an annoying, bratty kid who acted up, That's all I was seen
Okay.
as. So, I was just, it was just any little thing that I did. One time I got accused of lying by a teacher when I was actually telling the truth and had to write, "I will not lie" on a piece of paper.
Hmm.
And after my book came out, I actually looked for some of those teachers because I wanted to, like, talk to them and explain myself to them and everything, but I haven't had any luck finding any of the ones I've had problems with, so that didn't work out. In the summer of 1990, my family and I moved, and by my family, that's I'm talking me, my parents who were in their mid-30s at the time. I was 12 and my brother was 3. So, it was not I was gonna be starting a new school. I had just graduated 6th grade, starting 7th grade in a new school. So, I would be starting by myself. I didn't have any siblings in school or relatives in school with me. So, I was on my own, and struggled in school making I struggled making friends. I was always that kid, even in a friend group, I was like the expendable one, the one that just kind of was just there. I did have certain friends throughout my life, but I was never in a clique.
Mhm.
I certainly wasn't popular. I would describe myself as being awkward. I would describe myself as being kinda I think one mistake that I really made and one that I really regret was I was too eager to fit in and for people to like me, like, I made it way too obvious. If I could change anything about my
Yeah.
behavior, I would definitely change that. So, but I was, I get into 7th grade and I had a little bit of trouble. I wasn't bullied right away, but I kinda went from one friend group to another trying to figure out where I fit in, and I did make friends with this one girl, and she was actually in a year younger than me, so that would she was in 6th grade at the time. But the girl who I would end up having serious problems with, who became, like, the main bully, uh, her name was the name I gave her in the story was Tanya, and
Okay.
Tanya was, like, I would say my total opposite in every way. Blonde, pretty, confident, you know, she everybody knew who Tanya was. And she just had, like, the type that just had no told you exactly what was on her mind, had no shame, but she was also very good at putting an act and acting nice and sweet when she had to. She knew how to fool people as well. So,
Yeah.
7th grade, Tanya and I did not have any classes together, so I really didn't have any issues with her back then. I would say it started when I failed math class. that year and had to go to summer school, and she was in summer school also for something else. And that morning, while waiting for class to start, she would talk to me and she would at first I couldn't I'll be honest, at first I couldn't tell if she was trying to be my friend or not. I couldn't figure out where she was coming from or what her deal was. She made me a little nervous because but then the more she talked to me, the more I noticed she was very, like, condescending. There was, like, a condescending tone to her, the way she spoke, like, things like, "Where do you buy your clothes?" Or, "Where do you get your" that kind of thing. Like, she would, like,
Mhm.
look me up and down, how I was dressed or my hair, or she always had a comment to make, and it made me really uncomfortable, and I was really awkward, and so anyway, so she made me very self-conscious, but I tried not I didn't I'll be honest, I didn't know how to handle it, and I was kind of on my own. I didn't have, like, a group of friends to kind of help, protect me or whatever, so I felt very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So, I ended up passing math, and then 8th grade started, and she and I had, 2 classes together that year, homeroom and 2nd period, I believe, and it was throughout the course of that year that her bullying got worse and worse. She just kept testing her limits, and the more she got away with, the further ahead she got. It started with name calling. It started with and every day she would walk by, she would make a comment about the way I was dressed or the way my hair looked, and one then is the more she got away with, the more aggressive she got. One day, she walked by me, I was writing, she elbowed my arm while I was writing, and the pencil just streaked across the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she she would another I remember they were taking pictures for the yearbook, and that year we had a lot of middle school consisted of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So,
Yep.
be going into high school the following year. I know all middle schools are different, how they group um and she would just make comments any opportunity she had. This one particular there was a photo session out in the hall somewhere for we had a lot of different sets of twins in school that year, and she walked over, she saw me, said, "I didn't know you had a twin, Erica. Where's your twin?" And then she goes, "Oh, it's that pile of I just saw outside." And
Oh,
just
man.
and it got to the point
So
where just I really was it got worse and worse, and I knew that the people who were around me weren't gonna help me. I had been hoping that someone would say something or do something, but it was me. I had to kinda take control and go to the principal and go to the counselor I was seeing, and they she people only told on her when they absolutely had to. One time she in the hall, she hit me, knocked the books and papers just flew everywhere, and there was a teacher who, when I was on my knees picking up all my stuff, he was like he got mad, he yelled at everybody, "Okay, who did it?" Because I was so upset and frustrated, I couldn't even talk, so he was asking everybody, "Who did it?" And then he said, "Somebody better talk, who did it?" And then finally somebody, I don't know who I don't know who it was, but somebody commented, "Tanya did it." And then the thing is that no matter how many times I told on her, or even if she did get caught, she never got punished. So, seemingly,
hmm.
she didn't. She just
Did did she always have when she was bullying you, did she ever have, like, an audience that she would just do it to get attention?
yeah, a lot of kids didn't like me and bullied me, but I would say she was definitely
Okay.
heads above everybody else.
Was she doing it more to get, like, laughs and jokes, like
Yeah, and she did, and it worked, she did.
yeah,
She knew I think that's why she did it too, was she knew with me, I was no one she knew I was the easiest target, because another reason why I think I was an easy target was I didn't have any siblings close to my age, you know, so I was pretty much on my own. I mean, my friend, she knew about it and everything, but we weren't like I said, she was a grade younger than me, and at one point, her and the girl kind of were becoming friendly, and then I got scared because she was my only friend, because I
yeah.
was really worried she was gonna turn her against me too, so, um I just was like, "What do I do?" I really have no I I was telling the principal, and of course, that kinda made it worse because then you're seen as a big mouth, as a tattletale, and
Mhm.
when it nothing worked. I mean, she got away with everything. One time there was an assembly that was about to start, she was sitting maybe 3 seats to my left, and before it started, she smiled, she reached over, and she pinched my arm. She pinched and twisted my arm, and so I just remember sitting there just holding my arm and my just, I didn't do anything. I
Besides telling the principal, did you ever talk to your parents about it?
yes, yes. Yes, I did.
Did they
Yeah.
go to the principal as well?
Yeah, yeah, they really, and my parents and my grandmother tried to help me. It was just there were some really tough nights of us just, you know, that's one thing about me. I know a lot of kids are afraid to talk and to tell, but I wasn't. Because I knew I needed help. I knew I needed that I wasn't gonna solve this on my own. It wasn't gonna happen. So, I it got her, like I said, she got worse and worse, and she spit gum in my hair more than once, and the school nurse was I went to the school nurse, she got it out, and the nurse's office, the door was open, and she walked in, and she walked right in the room and said, "Erica, I heard what happened. Are you alright?" And I put an act and didn't say anything, because I think that was her way of checking up on me, making sure I wasn't telling on her. And
Yeah.
another time, I was in the principal's office, and the principal suggested that to bring her in and the 3 of us talk things out. She thought that was gonna solve the problem, and I got scared and I said no, because I was afraid what was gonna happen to me after that. I thought that was just
You
gonna
know,
make it worse.
I always wondered why that is, like, the first go-to thing, like, do we really if I was being picked on, do I really wanna sit next to them and have a talk about my feelings? I don't it happens today in schools too. It's like, why is that the number one go-to thing? Just deal with it. Just discipline them. Tell them they need to stop. I did my part, I don't know why schools do that still, but anyways, carry on. Sorry about that. I just had to say that.
No, no, I'm glad you did because I'm curious as to, like, nowadays, if they still do that, how that is handled, and I just going from my experience, and I don't wanna tell people how to do their jobs, but that doesn't work, and I'm living proof that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, just so you know, there's a few instances that I'm talking to you about that are not in my book because I had to cut it down quite a bit, so I'm giving you a little bit more than what's actually in the book. About a week
Yeah.
before the incident happened, she started messing with me one afternoon after dismissal, and I flipped out. I guess at one point I was actually trying to hit her or swing at her, and I missed. And she once she got me riled up and upset, she got what she wanted, she took off. She got what she wanted was to get me all upset.
Yeah.
And
And this was before the gum incident, right? That's what we're talking about, before the gum incident?
this was
The
actually
story you're
no, not the gum. The
okay.
gum had already happened at that
Okay.
point. Um,
Okay.
and just so you know, these incidents, these that I'm talking about, they happened throughout almost the entire year. So,
Okay, of 8th grade.
I remember I found a teacher or there was a what do you call there was this one activity, after school activity that I was involved in. It was like a community service club, and I saw the teacher that was the one who was the head of it, and I ended up talking to her, and I ended up crying. I mean, really, like, crying, crying,
Yeah.
and she hugged me, and she said, "It's okay, it's alright," and I looked at her and I told her, "You believe me, right?" 'Cause it just seemed like there's this whole school full of witnesses and nobody believes me. Nobody
Yeah.
seems to, but she said, I believe what you're telling me, yeah, because I guess that was I kinda put her in a tough position too because she hadn't actually witnessed anything, so she ended up bringing me home because I missed
So
the bus.
okay. So this all happened just for time-wise, this all happened pretty much in 8th grade,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Then so what happened in ninth grade?
Well,
Did she move out of the way? Or what happened then?
yeah, I'm getting to the point to what happened and how it finally came to an end. One morning, it was
Okay.
May, this was May of 8 I got up from my desk, and I it was, the end of homeroom, and I saw smoke, and I didn't know where it was coming from, and I'm, like, looking, and everybody's walking out the door and leaving, so nobody else is apparently seeing what I'm seeing, and I looked down at my desk, and I saw the ends of my hair and cinders falling on the desk, and
Hmm.
at that point, when I saw that, it was just me and the teacher in the room. The teacher, was looking down at his desk, and I yelled that my hair was on fire, and he looked up, goes, "What?" And then I didn't even bother to answer, I just ran to the principal's office.
She lit your hair on fire?
Yes, yes,
Was
yes.
she still in the classroom when that happened?
By the time I noticed it, she was already gone.
So she ran away. So what happened to her after that?
I got into the room, I held my singed hair up to show them. I was not injured, my skin and my clothes were not touched. It was just the ends of my hair
Yep.
on
Yeah.
my right shoulder, and I held my hair up, and the secretaries, everybody ran up, got towards me and was looking at it, and they brought me into the principal's room, sat me down. The principal went and called my father, and I she went she called him, she went and talked to me, and she said, "We're gonna get this taken care of, don't worry," and there was no question, there was no doubt in my mind that it was her who did it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna prove that even further. My teacher finally came around and we were outside of the office talking. My teacher claimed that 2 people in the classroom witnessed what she did or said it was her, and I said, "Who were they?" And he was like, "I can't tell you their names." So that was really frustrating. And then
Yeah.
Tanya herself walked over and then said, "Erica, I heard what happened. Are you okay?" In front of the teacher, right in front of him and I.
Mhm.
He Do they have any idea who did it?" And I said, "No." And he kinda looked at me. He gave me, like, a side eye to say, yeah, he knew she was lying. So, even though I don't even if he didn't actually witness her doing it, he did. So then I did go to the nurse's office. She asked me how much hair came off, and I said it was just some ends of my hair and just some cinders with it. And she said, "It wasn't a big clump of hair, though?" And I said, "No." I There was nothing she could do for me because I there was no actual, beyond that, there was no injury. So then I went back to class, and by the end of the day, everybody knew what happened.
Yeah.
By that afternoon, Tanya ran up to me and she said that they had called the police on her, and she ran off crying. And I don't know why I thought this, but at the point I was kind of surprised that the police were involved. I'm not anymore, but I was then. Um,
Yeah.
and then just I went to ninth period class, and then a teacher came in, peeked in, called said the principal wanted to see me immediately. So I get to the office, and there's 3 people waiting for me. The principal, my father, and a police officer. So, police officer principal said introduced me to the cop, said he wants to get a statement from me, and him and she and my father left the room, and I just told the cop what I knew, and The thing is that still to this day does not make sense, is they couldn't I was not considered a witness because I did not see it actually happen, but he called in another girl from our class who was sitting right nearby. She told the officer she did not see anything, and he said, "I'll be honest, I don't see how she could be right there and not see anything happen." And I asked him, "Do you think she's covering up for the other girl?" And he said, "Yeah. Yes, I do."
So I thought there was witnesses though. That
That's what
so
makes no
now when the
sense to
cops
me.
come, there's no witnesses. Yeah.
Yeah,
So did
it's
this lady get did Tanya get in trouble then or
she did confess. She did confess, and
okay, good.
the reason I know that is because my father actually saw her statement,
Okay,
and by the end of the day, the principal did tell us she was suspended indefinitely.
good. So was that the end of you and Tanya?
Well
Is that the end of your bullying experience or
well, here's the thing, there's so much about this story to this day that makes no sense because the following day, our yearbooks had come in, and we were in the hall, and we were waiting to, pick up our yearbooks, and she goes and walks down the hall with her friends like nothing happened. And I was with my friend, and I said, "What is she doing here? She was expelled. What is she doing here?"
yeah.
And then she said, "Oh, don't worry, maybe she just came to get her things," which makes no sense. But I'll be honest with you, I blame myself because I should have gone right back to the principal's office and told them that. So, yeah, I'll take the blame for that. I lived in
I
fear.
don't think I agree with that. I don't think I agree with you take the blame for that. That's not your problem. That's the school's problem. I mean, they're the one that suspended her, not you.
Well, yeah,
Obviously,
true.
a teacher saw her. So,
I
but so
This was the only thing, and the reason why I think she got away with as much as she did is at the end of the day, after my father, when we left the school, my father told me that her father worked in law enforcement. He had a pretty prominent position in law enforcement. So,
okay.
if that had something to do with it, I don't know.
So after this whole incident with Tanya, what happened ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade? Did things kind of calm down a bit for you?
Yeah,
Did things get
ninth
better?
ninth grade was tough in the beginning. A few her friends obviously blamed me for telling on her. I'm the one that got her to them. I'm the one that got her expelled. But I would say things never really got better for me, but they did taper off. Nobody else pulled anything like
Okay.
that. And I just became more and more of a loner throughout high school. My high school experience was not a happy one. It was not it was just do what I need to do to graduate.
So how did this experience affect you today? Or
Well,
how does I should say this again. Yeah, how did the bullying throughout school affect you today as an adult?
I would say there's so many ways, really. That's a really loaded question. Reading about
Yeah.
children and teenagers taking their own lives due to it because it's something I thought about doing many times. I considered many times just because I knew I feel their pain and their fear of walking into school, being afraid of what might happen to them, and feeling also the frustration when their parents say the school knew what was happening and didn't do anything.
Okay. So as an adult getting a job, working with people, did any of that experience being bullied carried over to your work life? How you meet new people today? Is that still happening today where you still have issues meeting new people, trusting new people?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I was bullied by my boss once. Used to, look for any excuse to tell me I was doing something wrong, and if I wasn't doing something wrong, she'd make something up. Um I do have friends, but I am careful about who I'm friends with, and it's the thing that I have
So
the issue that
you're cautious.
yeah, very.
Yeah, you're just being very cautious these days. Yeah.
Yeah. it's like when you go through something like that, when people are friends with you, you don't know what their intentions are or if they're only being friends with you because they feel sorry for you. Because I always thought, like, people are that's a problem I had for a very long time, and to some extent now is you think they're just being nice to me because they feel sorry for me or
So, Erica, what made you want to write a book about your experiences?
well, my book is actually a three-part story, and the bullying is in the first part. I also,
Okay.
in my mid-30s, experienced a health crisis and, had to have a life-changing surgery. And then part 3 is about a trip to Toronto that I took, with my mother, and that was also a lot of unexpected stuff happened, and so I would say those in the very beginning, when I was writing the very, very beginning rough draft, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna include the bullying because it didn't really fit with the rest of the story, but I figured here's my chance to finally explain myself, explain how people how I felt. I feel like I'm one of the most misunderstood people, so this is my chance to finally explain what this psychological damage this did to me and how this affected
Hmm.
me. So that's why I added it in and why I included it.
Okay. And what is the title of your book?
Missing the Boat, a memoir.
Missing the Boat. How'd you come up with that title?
Well, there is an actual boat involved. There it in act 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, just focusing on the bullying part, for Act One, what do you hope to accomplish that readers get about bullying?
Well, I really think I'll be honest, I think the adults need to read it. I think the kids know how serious bullying is, the kids that are experiencing it. I feel like the adults, especially adults that work in the school system or need to know how damaging this is and how if you ignore it, there's certain kids that some kids might stop on their own. I've had plenty of times where kids who were bullying me just stopped. But then there's
Hmm.
others like Tanya that won't, and that will keep going and pushing their limit, keep
Yeah.
yeah,
Have you ever have you have you ever wondered why you were bullied by Tanya? Was there ever a reason why she picked you, or
I do
like
well, I'm gonna
usually
just say
people
a
pick on you
couple.
for a reason?
Yeah. No, I will tell you one thing, it definitely she was not jealous of me. I was not jealousy
Yeah.
because I was nowhere near as pretty, nowhere near as popular. Um, I think that she was the type that liked being the center of attention. And I think she found
Hmm.
me that she thought of me as someone who was where she's here, I'm there, and I think she thought because I was new too and didn't have anybody to stick up for
Yeah.
me, I think I was just so easy.
You're Yeah, you were gonna be the butt of her jokes, and that's how she's gonna get attention and friends, by picking on you,
Yeah,
and you happen to be the
and it
punchline
worked.
for everything. Yeah. So, Erica, if people want to find your book, Missing the Boat, where can they find it?
It's, on Amazon, currently it's just available in paperback.
So, Erica, I can tell this personal story of bullying still bothers you today. And there's people out there who want to connect with you, maybe share their stories with you as well, or learn how to find your book. How can they find you?
Um, I'm on Instagram. The name is Missing the Boat Memoir, and my name is also going to be there, Erica Lowenkopf. And my
Okay.
profile picture is my book cover. So that's how you'll find me.
All right. Perfect. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, you'll find her Instagram link in the show description. And if you're watching on YouTube, you saw it go across your screen. Erica, thank you so much for coming on and sharing us your story.
Thank you.
And for myself, you can always find us at our very own website, which is www.breakingbullying.com. You can also reach out to us at our email address, If you have a story of your own bullying to share, or for whatever reason you want to get a hold of us, our email address is breakbullyinghere@gmail.com. If you're a victim of bullying and you don't know where to turn, there is online resources to help you. The first is the government's very own anti-bullying website, and the address is www.stopbullying.gov. If you have had thoughts of suicide or of self-harm, we implore you to stop. Reach out to the National Suicide Hotline. That number is very simple. It's 988. I'm Tim Flynn, and thank you for listening, and we will be back next week to continue the conversation to break the silence on bullying.